welcome to DNN's coverage of the fifth election. I'm joined here with RB and Ken Lane.
Hello,
Hi there.
I'm RB. This is Arch, and Ken Lane is muted.
All right. Well, so we're here on the cusp of what has been a monumental election for Democraciv MK5. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Should I talk about it?
Well,
Or do me, Ken?
I mean, you're the head of the Populist Party, isn't that right?
Yeah. Are we streaming right now on Democraciv channel?
Should be.
Because the announcement hasn't come out on the Discord.
Sometimes it takes a little bit. I'm showing live.
Yeah, no it happened. Okay. So, besides being a Mark IV veteran and multiple party leader, I'm currently the leader of the Populist Party, and I think we're gonna make a good election from being its sole state assembly representative last term. We got two candidates in the Nidaros state assembly, and we have one national assembly candidate. And with the sudden influx of tens of new voters, I think we're gonna have more seats than we have members. So, I mean, I can't complain, but we need to fill those seats as well.
And do you have any ideas on how you're going to do that?
Well, the last propaganda I released was about getting those who voted on us to become members as well, so we could fill those seats, but it hasn't worked yet. But I hope it will, because the first one to join our party is mostly likely going to get us a seat in power straight away, without no questions asked, because I think we got such a surplus right now.
And then I guess another big thing is that we have the potential for 5 National Assembly seats, last time I checked. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it was Don's son of the monarchist who rushed, but it got denied in the National Assembly. But it was a bill about allowing the High King to nominate National Assembly seats for people to fill them and be confirmed by the State Assembly, but it failed. If those seats were vacant. So we are most likely going to end up with one vacant seat, and we currently have no solution to fix that. So I guess the next term will be about how we're going to fix that vacant seat.
And then we also, so I did the math on it a little bit, and I think it looks like we have we have 4.5 National Assembly seats, and we have to round that to the nearest number. And that's the number of National Assembly seats. So the Supreme Court's definitely going to get involved. Do you have any predictions for who will win the High King election?
I don't actually. I think it will be close. That all 3 candidates will have a similar amount of votes, and well, it depends. I think the election will favor either Cloud9, Pepeghetti, or Ken Lane. But who's winning is dependent on which one got the least amount of votes and will be eliminated first.
How do you think the new members have affected the High King election?
Well, that's a tough question. I mean, these are new people just coming here and don't have that much of a clue of what's going on. And then they have three choices. I mean, it could go any direction. Maybe Ken is feeling due to, I mean, more thoughtful, actually having a plan and publicize that exactly what he wants to do. But I mean, monarchism, Cloud9, that sort of ideology could be appealing as well. I simply don't know who's benefiting the most here.
Well, I'm looking forward to finding out. And now, how do you think the new members have swung towards D Corp?
I have seen some new members getting the D Corp role in the bot channel. Yes, I think that that kind of part is appealing to some newcomers. But on the other hand, you have the new independent guy who's running Nidros creating an ecology party. So not everyone is partial to the D Corp ID. So, but I think D Corp is gaining a few supporters at least due to this new influx.
Well, but we have over 80 votes, and I wonder what kind of effect Ken's campaigning has done on the public perception of D Corp.
Could you repeat that?
I'm trying to with 80 people voting in this election, I'm trying to figure out guess how Ken's campaign against D Corp might have changed their minds or given some kind of changed the impression of D Corp globally.
I mean, Ken9 just PM'd me saying he didn't campaign that much on D Corp, so I mean, in public he argued a lot against it, but on his actual platform he seemed kind of neutral, taking a step away from the criticism. So, but I think his public arguments did shape his perception of being an anti-D Corp candidate, regardless of if it's on his platform or not. But that said, maybe we should let Ken9 actually make a prediction for himself.
Yeah. Here. Let me say, we're hosting this on the Democraciv News Network Discord server. So if you want to come in and give your 2 cents, you're welcome to, hop on in.
Am I,
Yeah, hi there.
Howdy, it's Ken Lane. Yeah, I assessment. I did not campaign heavily on D Corp. Originally, my intention was to campaign more heavily on, and then close to 50 new people joined, and I felt like I owed them something else other than an anti-vote buying platform, basically. So yeah, that's where I came from with my election sort of strategy.
And what do you think of your chances of winning right now?
As much, I wrote 2 speeches for a reason. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not convinced that we will win, but it's all up to what the new people decide, I think.
Now, before we continue, I'd like to bring a message from one of our sponsors today, Ken's Casino. So swing by the Democraciv Casino for a few drinks, some blackjack, and poker with your party members today. The link is in the propaganda channel of the main Discord, and I hear they're setting up a poker tournament. So if you're interested, definitely check them out. And I guess without further ado, we have some results coming in. So, yeah, how are you supposed to announce something like this?
You just do it.
Just do it. All right. Well, all right. So let me reveal the results of the High King election results, brought to you by Ken Lane's Norwich Casino. DNN is announcing that Ken Lane and Seanbox have won the position of High King.
I mean that's that's not entirely unexpected.
Yeah.
He was one of the front runners.
Let me pull up the oops, wrong thing.
The interesting thing will be to see how close the other came to challenge him.
Yeah. All right. So here's what we have for the government. We have Ken Lane and Seanbox with the High King position. As the Jarl of Vulcan, we have CYX Panic. That's not entirely unexpected. I believe they ran unopposed. Archwizard, myself as Jarl of Russia, I also was unopposed. And we have Norseman as Jarl of the Holy State of Odin. I don't know if Norse was unopposed, but yeah.
I think all the Jarls and Gotar was all unopposed.
So the Populist Party has won 3 seats in Nidaros. The Monarchist Party has also won 2 seats in Nidaros. The Theocratic Fundamentalists have won 2 seats in Nidaros. Democracorp and an Independent has also won in Nidaros. The Monarchists have won in Vulcan. Democracorp has also won in Vulcan. And surprisingly, Theocratic Fundamentalists have picked up a seat in Stavanger, and of course, Democracorp has won a seat there. Tootie has won a seat in Russia, as well as the Poseidon in the Monarchist Party. And Big Bobbert, the Messenger, and an empty seat have been picked up in the Holy State of Odin by the Theocratic Fundamentalists. Since the National Assembly has 5 seats, all 4 candidates have been elected. So, discuss, I guess.
I do have a speech written for victory that I would like to read if you would allow me.
Sure, go ahead.
Let me pull this up real quick. Thank you to my fellow Norwegians. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for electing me as your High King. I want to specifically thank Moderation for running the election, opponents for their engagement throughout the process, and the new voters who joined in the past week, and for voting for me most of all. Perhaps most importantly, though, thank you to my standing up beside me and running with me. We share a vision and a dream that extends far beyond what any other party believe, and is why we are proud independents. Now is not the time to be decisive. We must come together to create a better Norway. In the coming days, I will be announcing a series of appointments for Law Speaker to replace the missing people on the court, specifically Seanbox and myself, who will be resigning. I would ask that the sorting approval process swift and fair. Now is the time to come together and to govern effectively and judiciously. I will be appointing people to a series of executive roles intended to bring more people not just into the playing of the game, but intended to make following the game from Reddit and Discord easier, to make understanding the game and our nation easier, and to make access to information in the game easier to access. engagement will allow people to better form independent opinions and foster debate about those opinions on what should be done in the game. Now is the time for us to build a shining example of what democracy can be for the world, a time for us to usher in a goal that will make us the envy of every nation out there, a time for us to become world leaders in technology and civics, a time for us to spread our religion to every corner of the globe. Now is the time to move forward together as a nation and create a greater Norway that reaches across the seas and dominates our own continent. I am calling on all governors to begin building one new settler each in the first play session. I am calling on the State Assembly and National Assembly to immediately pass a list of technologies and civics to research, and I call on them to ensure that play session is not only able to be held, but is able to be held with meaningful input from the sorting. With 20 members, or actually 18, this is a typo, with 18 members, consensus may be hard to find, but compromise and cooperation will make us a stronger nation. Now is the time, not just for me and my heir. Now is the time for all of Norway to reach its full potential. Thank you. Odin bless our glorious nation.
Thank you, Ken, for your speech. Congratulations on your victory. Looking forward to see where you take the country.
Thank you.
All right, so Seanbox wants to talk about the vacant seats in our legislature.
The state assembly specifically. We're going to have to, as a government, come together to kind of decide what we're going to do, because the first court case the Supreme Court ruled on with me versus Norwegian legal code ruled that the party does not own those seats, which means they're vacant seats that the party does not get to fill. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Isn't there a state law in Nidaros about that, though?
You know what? I would have to look. Would state law be able to supersede our Constitution?
Well, if I recall... never mind. I can look at that later.
No, I mean, they might have done it. I took a little break after that. So if there is a state law, then that's good. We actually did something proactive for once.
If I recall, there was a state law passed that allows either the king or the party to appoint members. As far as I know, there's not something similar in the state of Odin, though. So that could be questionable.
Yeah, that would be problematic. Let me take a look real quick, see if I can find something. What would be... Oh, shit. Yeah, you're right, Retro, I did.
Wait a second.
Wait, I thought we didn't pass that, though.
I think it passed a referendum. I could be mistaken.
Okay, I thought we didn't pass it in referendum.
Yeah.
There was kickback because there was argument that I couldn't, as Jarl of Nidaros, put something to a referendum. Did we ever sort out that, legal snafu?
I don't recall. But, well, that's definitely something we're going to have to figure out.
Retros, who cares, does not help us.
Yeah.
Because people care. Somebody else. Regardless, if that is the case, Nidaros will be okay.
But the Holy State
of Odin will need to do... I do remember that. Do we actually have a copy of that anywhere? Retro?
I can look at it. Let me see.
I might have it in my thing still. If that's the case, then that means Ken will get to fill those seats, because I think how we decided to do that.
Is this it?
Yeah, that looks like it.
Yeah, there was yeah.
Would this even apply Why? Because this says only in the event of a member of a delegation from Nidoros either forcefully or voluntarily vacates a seat.
I guess that's a good point.
This
Wow.
when I wrote this, somebody failed to put in if there's not enough candidates on the list.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Well, I'm hoping hoping the government is competent enough to deal with, lots of problems.
We won't. It'll crash.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be something I
Yeah.
guess me and Ken have to sit down and talk about
Yeah.
now. Because there's no governing body within Nidoros, if I remember correctly, besides us. Because I didn't form it, and I don't know if Bob did.
Hmm.
Okay, so if we are done with that discussion, I think we should discuss.
Yeah, I'm. Does the independent from Russia want to talk about their campaign, kind of the process, right?
Yeah, he's here, right?
Yeah, I think.
Tudy, can you allow him to speak if he wants to?
Yeah, if you want to talk.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
How are you guys doing?
Well, so first of all, congratulations on your election.
Thank you.
And so you joined pretty recently.
I joined on Thursday.
Wow. Yeah. So why did you decide to run?
I watched the hiking debate,
Hmm.
and I had my favorite, but none of them were like really super convincing to me. So I started to look a little bit deeper into what options are available for a new member like me, and I decided. I think someone wrote somewhere that the new members should run for SA.
Yeah. And
So
looks like you've
yeah,
pulled that off. Have you also started a party?
I did start the Norse Party. Yeah.
Yeah. Could you talk a little bit about what it stands for?
So the Norse Party stands for, so Norse itself stands for the Norwegian Russian Sustainability and Ecology Party. And we are looking for preserving the Norwegian Russian heritage. And my girlfriend over me at the other side of the table looked at me as if I lost my mind just now. So yeah, we want to correct our Norwegian Russian heritage and stimulate and sponsor our nation's cultural advancements.
Cool. Well, I'm glad that you were able to, just kind of be a part of our community. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks. It's been pretty fun so far.
If Tudy is done, I think we should discuss the election results themselves, what we found surprising, or what went as expected and such.
All right. Well, do you want to start, RB?
Yeah. So, I mean, according to my predictions and others' predictions, especially with how many voters we got, the Populist Party did pretty well and got themselves 3 seats, so that we triple our current numbers. What was surprising to me and maybe to others was that the Democracorp didn't do so well. Actually, they only got 3 seats and they had 5 candidates. And in Stavanger and Volcom, yeah, they won seat in both of those. And those were states that ran unopposed in until the last couple of hours before the election started. And but they won those seats anyway, along with monarchists and theocrats in those states. But they didn't manage to get seats in Russia or Odin, which both were strongholds for the monarchist, respectively the theocratic party. But only one monarchist won in Russia. The other seat went to the independent of the Norse party. So I'm a bit surprised that the Democraciv didn't do so well. As for the monarchists and theocrats, they both did pretty well. So
Well, I'm gonna kind of jump off of that. I am also a little bit surprised at. I'm not amazingly surprised at how Democracorp performed. I mean, my guess was that they wouldn't do amazingly well, but what did surprise me though is how well the independents did. I can't really recall another time where independents have won seats in anything. But we have High King, which is an independent, and we have 2 state assembly seats that are independents. The other thing that was surprising to me was that the monarchists won 2 seats in Nidaros, but aside from that,
Retro is telling in chat that he expected Democraciv to do even worse than they did, which, well, that's his opinion, but I think 3 is pretty, well, they stay put, but, well, we had a lot more voters, especially in the capital, in Nidaros. I don't know, I think we went from 20 voters in the capital compared to last election to 50 something, and the Democraciv got as many seats now as they did then. So I mean that shows to me that Democraciv didn't appeal to new voters at all.
yeah, that was my suspicion, right? Didn't know how well Democracorp would fly with newer people who just come in. And we can see that, like, Stavanger, or however you pronounce it, Democracorp, that's supposed to be a Democracorp stronghold, at least last time I checked. And they only have 1 seat there.
Yeah.
Can I chime in on this a little bit?
Oh, yes, go ahead.
I think the new people. I mean, I didn't campaign hard on it, but I did. I think the new people found the court case. They found all the information on D Corp over the past couple weeks that's come out, and I think what they read they didn't like. I think we had a very good by the Iceman not that long ago, where he basically highlights why D Corp is bad for new people. I think they found that. I think they read that, and I think they said, "Oh, we should not be voting for this party." And I think that's why they sort of lost ground in a lot of ways.
I mean, that's definitely an option. What do you think about that, RB?
That the recent talk discouraged people from supporting Democraciv.
Right? Because another option is that they just preferred other parties. I mean, maybe they voted independent, and they voted for populist.
Yeah, it seems like the campaign actually worked against Democraciv. It wasn't that organized. It was more like ad hoc from my part, and then Ken joined in at the same time. But it seems to have worked to stop Democraciv from growing, and newcomers really didn't want to support it and supported parties such as ours and the other ones that were present in Nidaros and across the country.
Retro is typing, so.
I mean, we could invite Retro to speak here if he wants, and other people as well, so he doesn't have to text in.
Yeah,
He can't.
I mean, I have to wonder. Right? Like, how much new players knew about the party. How much about the internal structure of Democracorp, right? Because, I mean, when I first started with Democracorp, I didn't know very much about how it operated, what kind of structure it was, or anything like that. So I wonder if that affected it at all.
Well, I'm not even sure Ken and me even knows how it's working internally, but from what we can see from the outside, it has a damaging effect on our democracy. And I think the newcomers going into this game and viewing it as a democracy, and then the first thing they see is propaganda posters about vote buying and selling, and that seems like contradictory to the purpose of them going here. That they want a democracy and they don't want to not being able to take part of it because votes are being sold or bought, and causing them to have less influence as newcomers because there is that vote market.
So Donson says that one of his concerns is the lack of opposition in the legislature. What does that mean? Like,
well, there's not many bills that are opposed really, and there isn't much debate, so I think that's what he's referring to.
I guess one thing I do want to point out, though, is that there is only one elected official from the Grand Pirate Party that I see. And I don't see any from Cloud9. Am I mistaken there?
Yeah, I think that's... wait, who's...
Perfect Wing from the Grand
America.
Pirate Party, one Jarl of Stavanger.
I thought Fem America was running for Cloud9, but didn't she?
I believe she ran, but she didn't win.
Oh, so there was a race in one of them.
Yeah, it's the only one I know of.
Well, in that case, there is no Cloud9 representation, and the only Grand Pirate is in Stavanger then.
So, what does that mean for those parties?
I mean, they have been pretty dead in terms of government representation for 1 or 2 elections back. So I don't think it changed very much. It's unfortunate that they can't field any candidates and win votes, probably due to a lack of willing candidates. But they haven't managed to appeal to newcomers either. I don't know if that's due to lack of ability, lack of appealing policies, or what it is. But I mean, it's the status quo for those parties. They are pretty marginalized, and they are staying pretty marginalized.
Yeah.
Even a bit more this election, perhaps. But yeah, it's the theocrats and monarchists, Democracorp and populists that are running the game pretty much.
If there are any new people who aren't aware of the results, Ken Lane and Sean Box have won High King, and the legislature looks to be pretty evenly divided, our 18-seat legislature, And in the National Assembly, we have Democracorp, Monarchist, Populist, and Theocratic Fundamentalist.
So Donson in chat says that lack of accountability from party members have, in his opinion, crippled both their parties, referring to Cloud9 and the Grand Pirates. And Ken Lane in Twitch chat, I don't know if he's referring to the Grand Pirates and Cloud9, but he says they have good people, but they aren't active enough. And Retro is saying that Cloud9's National Assembly candidate went on a hike during the candidate announcement,
Well,
and
that's
thus
not great.
wasn't able to run.
Alright, so I have some numbers. I'm not making any claim to be anyone who knows what to do with these numbers, but here's what I have. It's not amazingly pretty for the eyes, but it looks like the Populist Party had the majority of votes in Nidaros.
Yeah, I'm seeing 13 votes, around 30%
Right.
of the vote. So Populist being the largest party.
And then
Yeah, that's pretty good.
then the Monarchist, then the Theocrats.
Followed by, oh, ouch. The Independent in Nidaros actually got more than Democracorp.
Wow.
I think Democracorp actually didn't gain a single vote from the newcomers, just kept the same amount of votes since the last election. So they didn't move a bit.
Wow. In Stavanger, though, the Democracorp got 5 votes, and in Vulcan there were 6. But still not a lot.
Yeah, interesting to see that Democracorp was the almost well in the let's see in Vulcan they were twice as large as the Monarchist who got the other seat, and they were almost twice as large in Stavanger. So
Right.
they were pretty big in both those states, but both the Monarchists and Theocrats opposition joined in the final hours before the election, so them fetching a couple of votes, and in the end 2 seats, 1 seats each was excellent move from them. Otherwise the result might have been that the Democracorp would have taken those seats.
Right. Makes sense.
So do you have the High King raw votes yet?
Yes, I believe so. We just check and see if it's... Yeah. Alright, so... High King. Royal Family. So... Yeah, 40 number 1 votes for Ken Lane and Sean Box. Wait, that doesn't make sense. I don't know how to read this.
Yeah, I think it's 40 first votes for Ken Lane, and I'm seeing 26 first votes for Pepegetti and Tiberius. So
Okay, well, that
they're
makes
quite
sense.
And let me fetch Retro's number. And Retro had only 23 votes, so Ken Lane were almost twice as large as the other parties, and Retro and the Monarchists got knocked out in the first round then,
Yeah.
and Ken Lane and Pepegetti faced off. But in the end, it seems like the Monarchist and Retro votes tipped the election in favor of Ken Lane, and he won against Pepegetti and Cloud9.
Yeah. But regardless, with 40 number one votes, you don't need very much to tip the scales. For
No, you just need. If it was 90 votes, if I saw it correctly, he would need 46 votes to get a majority. So there's just 6 votes from Retro out of 23 votes.
Yeah.
To win straight away.
Yeah, that's crazy. We also have the Russian Constitution being ratified with 7 votes in favor and 2 votes against. So that's also a thing.
I haven't looked into that very much, so I assume you know a lot more about it than I do, because you're the Russian power thingy.
Yeah, I wrote that. But
so could you explain it to us and the viewers?
Well, so basically, I mean, do you want me to pull it up? But basically what it does is it creates the position of Jarl and sets up a regional council to, govern the state of Russia. It's pretty simple. So.
Hello, Ken Lane, your new king, popping in again.
Hi there.
You
Welcome
say
back.
the Constitution is pretty simple, but at the end of the day, most of your followers, the people listening, haven't read it.
Oh.
Give us a breakdown of it. Tell us more about it. It's the 9th inning, 2 outs. Runners on first and second. Tell us all the details.
All the details. Well, it starts with a preamble. I can do that from memory.
I would enjoy that.
Give me a wisdom roll.
Yeah. Here it is. See, now the problem with me is that I do like this whole constitutional law professor, but it creates the position of the Tsar, which is the most interesting part, which then appoints an heir, and then once the Tsar's term runs out, the heir becomes the Tsar. So it's kind of a cycle of people becoming the Tsar. And, of course, it's a democracy, so the people have to have some kind of power. So, if 60% of the citizens are just unhappy with the current government, they can revolt and call for new elections for all positions, including the Tsar. We also have a legislative council, which is 2 dukes, or 20% of the votes, and they will make state laws. So, are there any questions?
Another thing that I found in the STV results was that in let's see which day. the Jarl of Stavanger election was that the Grand Pirates Perfect Wing won with 7 votes against Fem Americas from Cloud9,
Wow.
2 votes. So 7 to 2 votes. So the Grand Pirates showed a little bit of power there.
Yeah, I would be
And,
interested.
flexed their muscles a bit, but unfortunate for them, it was only at the local level, and they won against. I would consider those parties pretty close to each other and cooperating and friends. So the only fight they won today was against their best friend in politics. So it wasn't that much a prestigious win, unfortunately.
Right. I would be interested to look at the party makeup of Stavanger. Sorry. But I would be interested in looking at that.
Yeah, I think it was founded as a Cloud9 Grand Pirate stronghold before they failed to run their own state assembly candidates there, and Democraciv taking over those voters who had none else to vote on.
Oh, we have fancy results now. Cool.
One stat we also could mention is that the state of Nidaros actually has as many seats in the state assembly alone as the entirety of all states last term.
Yeah, that's. I mean, yeah. And that's just one city, right?
Yeah, I think Nidaros is still one city, but it has, according to moderation sources, Nidaros got around 300 citizens there, but the turnout was 44, so
Yeah.
that's around 20-25% of those 300 active. So very few, but still the largest of them all.
So I actually have to head out, but you're welcome to continue the stream on a different thing, but my battery's about to run out.
Yeah, if I could continue hosting on my channel or the Democraciv channel, if there is anyone who wants to join the chat and talk.
I can co-host with you for a little bit if you want.
Yeah, if
I'm currently messaging people about Supreme Court positions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, you could cut it here, Arch, and we'll see if we can arrange a
right.
follow-up straight away.
Well, thank you all for watching, and congratulations to the new government. See you around.